Hi, my name is Brett Linkletter, CEO and founder of Misfit Media, the best damn restaurant marketing agency on the planet. Here at Misfit, we help restaurant owners grow and scale their business through strategic online marketing practices. Right now, you're listening to our podcast, Restaurant Misfits, where we'll discuss all things related to restaurant marketing, management, and everything else in between growing a restaurant business. This podcast is also brought to you in collaboration with Total Food Service. For over 30 years, Total Food Service has provided the restaurant and food service industry with exclusive interviews to the latest news on products, trends, associations, and events. You can sign up for a free monthly subscription by visiting totalfood.com today. And from all the misfits over here, we hope you enjoy the show. Cheers. In this episode, I interview Renee Scott, who is the CMO of Ike's Love and Sandwiches and is a creative marketing powerhouse and longtime veteran of the restaurant industry. Renee is the former CMO of Carl's Jr., Togo's, Pizza Rev, Rancho Villas, among other leading fast casual concepts. She has successfully navigated Ike's through the pandemic by launching buzzworthy promotions, enhanced delivery options, and menu innovations, and is in the process of launching a new app and website to push the brand even deeper into digital this year. Renee opened 20 units last year and will open another 21 Ike's locations in 2021, nearly doubling the unit count during a pandemic. There is so much to share, and I can't wait for you to listen. So let's dive right in. Renee Scott, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. So you are the CMO of Ike's Love and Sandwiches. You've been there for about, 2.5 years now, it looks like?
Yeah, about 2.5. Yep.
Okay. And what's that been like? I mean, obviously the restaurant space took a hit this last year. How's everything going for you guys as a business?
We're doing great. We are having double-digit growth and in a crazy expansion. I'm going to be opening a new store in El Segundo next week. So we had a little, like a lot of folks, a little dip for 3 weeks right after the shutdown hit, but we pivoted quickly and we've been firing on all cylinders. So it's all good.
Amazing. And little background on yourself for someone who has no idea who you are or maybe hasn't heard of Ike's and wants to learn more. How did you get into this industry? And can you tell us a little bit about Ike's in general?
Yeah, I mean, quick background on me. I've been in restaurants my whole life. It was my first job. I was with PepsiCo for a while, but I grew up at Carl's Jr. I started there as a young field marketing manager, working with franchisees to grow their business in their trading area, and just kind of grew through the organization to be the VP of marketing and media. Yeah, a good 12-year run. I mean, Carl's taught me everything about process and structure and being in a big organization and where the silos exist and how to respect the silos. And then Ike's kind of blew that all up. So it's been a fun ride. After Carl's, I should fill in the blanks, but after Carl's Jr., I did a short stint with Roundtable Pizza out here on the West Coast, and then Togo's Sandwiches for 8 years, where I headed up their menu and restaurant design revamp and ran a team of about 20 people and learned the sandwich business. So Everything kind of led me to this point with Ike's, where I have the structured background, I've got the sandwich background. I'm not sure I was quite prepared for for the world of Ike's, which is very different from a corporate environment.
Absolutely. And what are the key differences you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, similarities and differences, but yeah, differences. Ike's grew exponentially from one sandwich chain. Ike Shaheda, our founder, started Ike's Love and Sandwiches 13 years ago in San Francisco with one unit. And with a partner, quickly grew to 50 units without a big infrastructure, without a marketing department, without a real training or ops department. But because of the strength of the brand and the product, just was really able to be successful. Like I said, with 50 units, and no real infrastructure to speak of. I think that speaks to a couple things. Like I said, Ike Shaheda, Ike, our founder, who is the bald guy image on all of our marketing materials, is
Yep.
really iconic. He loves what he does. He's created over 800 sandwiches. He is the sandwich wizard. He is what else is Ike? International sex symbol. At least that's what we put on. That's what we put on his business cards.
800 sandwiches. How do you guys do that? That is crazy.
He just is like an innovation whirlwind, and he'll see something and 5 minutes later it's this amazing sandwich. And the core of all of our sandwiches is his Ike's secret dirty sauce. So it goes on the bottom and top of every sandwich that we make, and it just is this craveable, distinctive taste that people love. And I think the other reason that he's able to come up with 800 sandwiches is from the beginning, he had a vision of Ike's being for all, Ike's for all, no exclusions for dietary reasons. So he was one of the first 13 years ago to really focus on like gluten-free bread. We have 8 plant-based proteins. So like a huge menu of vegetarian offerings, and over 100 sandwiches of ours are vegetarian, and they're not, this isn't like tofurkey and, dairy, non-dairy cheese. This is like wasabi based, veggie chicken nuggets with, a crazy sauce. So, I first learned about Ike's because both my kids are vegetarians. And when my son was in college, he was just raving about Ike's because it was a place he could go and feel like, hey, I could go with my buddies who love their regular sandwiches and I could get my vegetarian sandwich and like it tastes amazing. So I think that's how I he just, like I said, he's an innovation wizard, and he just keeps things going.
So, and it's probably a lot of fun being able to market a brand when you have that many options for things you can market and so much innovation going on, right? I'm imagining.
Oh yeah. I mean, 100%. I mean, the other thing is because Ike's is really a cult Bay Area brand, we've got a huge number of celebrity fans and followers from, that Ike has made either tribute sandwiches for or made sandwiches with. So
I love
from, Steph Curry to Marshawn Lynch to Halsey. We're cooking up something right now with Lizzo. So, it's an interesting, iconic, fun brand to work on.
Wow. So talk to us about some of the more marketing initiatives you guys are currently doing. You've been there. Well, you said originally when they first grew, you said to 50 locations originally with no marketing, really?
50 when I came on with basically no marketing. Yeah. I mean, other than Ike. And then now we're up to 70 restaurants. We'll open another 20 this year.
Wow.
We've got 6, we're building out right now and finishing up. So
working, because something that we deal with at Misfit Media, right, is a lot of clients that we're looking to work with, similar situations. It's like, hey, they've never done marketing. It's a totally foreign thing to them. Now they're finally looking at actually doing this because they see that there's some value. We saw this especially during COVID because it was like so many restaurants were relying on this walk by traffic, and they're like, well, we don't have that anymore. So they were looking at marketing as a nice to have service, and now it's a need to have service and part of the company, right? Because they're not walking by. So how do we now get in front of these people? So for you, obviously coming in, was there, obviously they were looking to beef up the marketing. What have you been up to? What kind of marketing initiatives have you guys been doing?
Well, I think number one, it's interesting when you have a restaurant that really kind of grew without marketing, without structure, and then you come in with my background and you see, this vast opportunity, and how do you kind of focus on what's the most important thing? So right now, and this is an initiative I started pre-COVID, but we're in a complete digital revamp. Our website, please don't look at it. It's awful. It's like from 1998. But we're we're in the process of revamping that. And the interesting thing is, yeah, it's a 1998 website, without any of the bells and whistles that you'd see now, or any of the back end SEO metrics. But look where we are today with it. Like I'm just amazed at the opportunity in front of us, because once we really are firing on all cylinders from a digital aspect, we'll be golden.
Totally.
So, what happened last year, of course, is with my big MarTech overhaul, it was just put on the back burner, and we had to focus on brass tacks, man, with COVID. Luckily for us, we're mainly to-go business, or
Nice.
delivery, online, and online orders make up over 50% of our business right now.
50%, wow.
Yeah, I mean, but that was built through after COVID. I mean, we just pivoted immediately. Number one, we embraced working with our third-party partners, which was, rough for a small brand. We'd been really negotiating with them pre-COVID to get better rates, and we were able to do that. But then just really embracing the relationship, as challenging as it is with third-party partners, we just opened our arms and said, let's go. And the business increase there has been great. We did the same thing on our app. We offered free delivery, and then we did some brand right promotions. We didn't want to just discount and play the discount game. So we figured out how we could bring $5 Friday sandwiches. And I should say our average sandwich is about $12. So we brought to our fans who ordered on the app $5 Social D sandwich every Friday. And it was based on it was really cool. It was based on the programs that Ike was watching and binging on. So we did a Social D sandwich around Tiger King and Schitt's Creek, and
I love that.
all of the shows all the shows people were talking about, and that was a huge hit. And then the other thing we do. Go ahead.
What's kind of creative about what you guys do is you're taking what's kind of trending through the media, which people are talking about. It's the buzzworthy stuff, and then you're making a sandwich of it. I mean, you just said it. I'm already like, I want to try it. What's the Tiger King sandwich like? You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. That's really creative.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, the good thing about being kind of just a small team, which we are, it's really, Ike is the brains of the menu. I came in, we have a new CEO, Mike Goldberg, and the three of us just powwow and make things happen. So it's not like a big organization that you got to go through, machinations. Ike will pop into a restaurant, create an amazing sandwich. I'll have it on the app 2 days later, and away we go. So nice. And we had a little bit of experience in that. We did things like, we just do some crazy things. Like we do, to your point, tap into like April 20th, like the 420, whole 420 thing that's become huge now, right?
Totally.
Big brands are even there. So
100%.
So we created a promotion around that all week. We called it our Smokin' Deal. And you got a $4.20 sandwich. So we had a little history with how you capture that cultural moment and bring it in restaurant. So we were well poised for Social D sandwiches.
What were some of the challenges you said you faced with the third party apps? I mean, obviously, the margins they're taking aren't great, but what are some other challenges maybe you guys saw?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was number one. Number one was it was just killing us to hand over, sometimes 30% before we negotiated it down.
Totally.
We had issues, I think, with service, when you needed help and support, and then I think some of the third parties are very sophisticated in how they can help you get new guests through their platforms, and others are not. So in some instances, I'm taking what I've learned from the big dogs in third party and telling the little dogs in third party, here's what we need to do. So it's funny. There's a little coaching involved, but
So wait, for you guys, I know you said right now 50% of your sales are going to takeout delivery. That's because of COVID, or you guys also in general always had a large takeout delivery
We
business?
definitely always did. Yeah, I mean, our
Okay.
format, our restaurants tend to be a little bit smaller. I mean, it's amazing sandwiches. So generally, that's a more portable,
Got it.
off-premise occasion. So we were well positioned. I other brands, of course, like casual dining, and those guys just got hit hard because they probably were 90% dine
Yeah,
in before COVID. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, you guys are set up in a good spot for this.
yeah.
So I saw on your guys' website. I know you said it's old and you're in the process of revamping it. Do do you guys do you do online, like direct online ordering too? Like, would I be able to just order direct, or do I have to download the app in order to do so?
Yeah, well, that's another part of our marketing pivot.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, currently and for Ike's app life, you had to download this app. And we know that, it's like 70% of people are going to order from either desktop or mobile. They don't want an app. So,
Yeah,
the exciting thing for me is once we get our desktop online ordering, mobile online ordering, we may have 70% increase in our own business. So that's what I'm excited about.
wow. Wait, so you're saying
Like,
you're looking towards creating, like, let's just say a mobile web app, or just ordering through the desktop online. You think that there could
yeah.
be that much of an increase potentially?
Oh, I do. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
statistically, it's really only 30% of your online ordering guests that engage in an app or rewards, or so
Yeah,
yeah, I think a lot of people, if you're not a super fan, super fans are the ones that have got the app. But certainly, we're seeing it too in the younger generations, that they're like, forget the app, like make it easy for me just to like tap in
totally.
there I go.
I was at a conference back when conferences were a thing.
Yeah.
And good old
Who
days,
thought
right?
we'd miss conferences?
I know. And I was a couple of big brands. I don't want to mention specific names. Big brands talking about their apps and how excited
Yeah.
they were about their apps. And then I asked a question, and I said, "Well, what percent of your sales are coming through this app?" And then they laughed and said, "Well, it's actually less than 1%."
Oh my God.
And I'm not saying, the app is the wrong move. And for sometimes it's the best move ever. I mean, like, look at someone like Sweetgreen, for example, has made a really great app, I think, that does really well.
Yeah.
Domino's, they're more of a tech company than restaurant.
Yeah.
They've really
Right.
figured out their app. So
Yeah.
definitely is possible. But it was amazing to me how little some of these brands who invested so much into the app. And I think I have to agree with you. I think people want an easy way to order. And I think what's happened during COVID especially is, like, consumers weren't aware of the margins that Uber Eats and DoorDash were taking originally. Consumers had
That's
no
right.
idea. But I
They
think since
didn't.
COVID, people are more cognizant of it, and they're thinking more like, I want to support my local restaurant and I don't want to do so through Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Seen that as well? Do
That's
you
right.
guys?
Well, I love that observation. I really hadn't thought about that, but I think it's right on. That the kind of the curtain's been drawn back, right, on
Yep,
third party business models, and now your everyday consumer does have an understanding that this is eating margins of my little mom and pop. So there's a
totally.
plus for COVID.
Yeah, that is you could say that as a plus. I mean, again, it's you do got to recognize that, hey, Uber Eats and DoorDash, they are doing some pretty amazing things for people. I mean, they are doing, partly the new channel, they're reaching all these people on
Yeah.
the online ordering capabilities, the drivers. So yes, they are giving a lot of value. And I don't want to say all these bad things about them, because they are doing great things too. But I think, a lot of consumers have seen that. I mean, we're based in the LA area, and so many people I know personally and through our community and clientele, they're like, yeah, the uptake in our direct online ordering through our site has been through the roof, because people, they want
Yeah.
they want to support us. They know
That's
it
right.
now. They get it. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I totally, yeah, I think that's awesome. And I do think you're right. That was a good observation. Like, people get it now. At the same time, I also feel like there's some things there's some people you got to dance with, right, at the party. Maybe
yeah,
that's, that's the misfit in the corner at the party you got to dance with, because look, there's some people that are ordering only on DoorDash. That's just what they do. Then there's some people who are Ike super fans. They're going to download our app. Some people are going to go like, I'll just pop in and order it, so you got to be there. 100%. I think that I think what you have to be careful of is just like how much energy, is your energy and focus disproportionately put into a channel that isn't returning the revenue?
100%.
You know what I mean?
Which honestly, we see as an agency is one of the biggest problems in general with a lot of restaurants is they're doing all these different things and they don't know what actually is making the money back or not. Right. So how do you, let's go back to some of the marketing stuff. So what are some of the channels you guys are focusing on? I know you said digital is obviously a big move for you guys. Talk to us about some of the strategies you're pursuing. I mean, you got some really cool, looks like collaborations you've done with celebrities, you've done with cool shows, stuff like that. I love that. But how are you reaching these customers? Is it through social or what kind of channels are you guys working on?
Yeah, I mean, we're so old school right now. You'll crack up. I mean, we do have this app, but like really our main communication right now is our A-list rewards email club. So we've built that up from about 40,000 to almost 200,000 during COVID. So that's what's keeping us going right now. But the part of the digital roadmap is not only the new website with local landing pages, we are engaged with Patronics. Patronics is helping us develop an online ordering and rewards platform. And then it'll integrate with our gift card. So we're mapping out to be where we should be probably in the next 6 months. But it is pretty amazing our old school tactics and unsophisticated platforms have really gotten us to where we are today. So, totally. It's a little bit of.
Well, hey, I mean, I don't think email lists are bad. I think email lists are great. Yeah. I mean, like you'd be amazed how many restaurants haven't even thought about that. I mean, you've probably seen it all the time, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, it happens a lot. And the thing I always been coaching our clients on and thinking about is if you look at digital ads, right? Ads on Facebook, Google, Instagram, whatever. There's a common trend that's been happening over the last couple of years, and it's going to continue happening, is that ad dollars are going up. It's going to get more and more expensive to reach people over time. That's the reality we're dealing with because there's more and more people moving to digital, and there's not a whole lot more platforms coming out that people are advertising on. So it's getting more crowded, basic supply and demand, right? Well, if that is to be true, which it is, we have to, if we want to be competitive in the digital space, be building a list so that we're not so dependent on reaching people through running ads on these social platforms. So I think it's brilliant what you guys are doing. You guys should be.
Thank you. Well, maybe it's full circle. It's old school, but it's new school. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it is. But I think what you're hitting on is right on. It's about owning your data, right? And that's the problem with third party. They own all our customers' data. They know what, DoorDash and Postmates, they know what my customer Jane down the street orders every Thursday. And then they can start marketing to her direct and keep their flow going, right?
Yeah.
But through our club and our email, I own that data. So I can hit you up, 3 times a week with your favorite sandwich.
100%. And that's exactly what I was getting at too. Yeah, you own that. That's another big pain point of the third-party apps. You don't get that. Do you, other than emails, what about phone numbers, or do you guys do anything with phone numbers as well? Texting?
Not right now, but that's what we're working towards is text, SMS, everything to get the digital customer where we need them.
Question for you too. I don't know if this has been some of you guys have looked at or not. Have you ever considered also utilizing Facebook Messenger for anything?
You know what? I looked into that with the previous brand that I was working on, but not through Ike's. We're not there yet.
Got it. Yeah, that's been for us. I mean, an amazing channel because it's just like a text, right? You get basically about a 90% open rate within a couple minutes, almost as good as a text. It's essentially free. There is a time restriction on the time that you're able to engage with the customer. For instance, if someone were to send Ike's a message through Messenger, Ike's now has the ability to follow up with them or message them back within 24 hours. Once you move outside of that, you can't. But, just talking about data and communication channels, it's another great channel, which for us has been really, really part of our marketing system and program. And it seems like a lot more restaurants are starting to catch up to it, because it's also a way that the brand can connect one-on-one with the customer very easily.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great insight. Yeah.
100%. So talk to us about, you guys obviously have had a lot of success. It sounds like you guys are opening a lot more stores this year. It looks like opened 20 units last year and about to do another 20 this year. Is that what the plan is? Amazing.
Nope, 20 in pre-COVID. So what was that year? 2019.
2019, yeah.
2019. Okay. We had a couple trail in like January, February pre-COVID, and then we just hunkered down during COVID. But we, last half of the year, we really saw a lot of opportunities for expansion, right? The real estate market, it was kind of like, somebody else's loss is our gain. And our model is, we're kind of down and dirty. We'll just go in, take over a Subway, take over a Togo's location, boom, put some brand colors on the wall, get some amazing sandwiches spitting out of those restaurants. And we're doubling sales from the previous sandwich shop that was in that location. Wow. Same location, sandwiches, but it's we can go in and double sales.
So okay, that's kind of cool though, and I don't know why I've never thought about it that way. But so when you guys look at new locations, you are generally speaking looking for something that was previously a sandwich shop. That's like the most ideal situation for you guys.
That's kind of, I mean, that works out great, right? Because there's so much similarities in the footprint. A lot of times you'd be shocked, like, some of these, if it's a franchise or it's a, corporate ownership, they'll walk away and leave half their equipment. So we're in there harvesting, refrigerators and, make lines and so, I mean, it's crazy, but we're kind of just swooping in and making things happen.
That is a massive opportunity. Wow. They're just leaving their refrigerator and all their equipment. I never.
Oh yeah.
Good for you guys. I mean, hey, way to think on your feet, and that's amazing. You would be resourceful. So wow, I love that. And so it's obviously, and I'm imagining also during the pandemic, a lot of things opened up. We had a podcast with someone in New York. I forget who it was exactly, but they were saying, there's never been a better opportunity to expand the restaurant business because everything's on discount. I mean, everything. Everyone, it's crazy how many new amazing places are opening up for rent and at crazy discounts. Right?
100%. Yeah. I mean, you're getting some good leasers, you're getting some good, just great value, just like what you said. Yeah.
100%. Renee, I have here in your notes that you guys have been obviously very relevant during this crazy time. You're looking at like real world trends with exciting promotions. Obviously, the celebrity stuff you guys have done, the TV show stuff you guys have done. How else have you guys stayed relevant? What's been another kind of key component of that, you think?
I mean, Ike himself, like I said, is a great personality, and he's out there meeting with customers, doing podcasts, doing appearances, and he's just a really down-to-earth person that people, if I say, if Ike's going to be at a location, you'll have 100 people there within an hour or two. It's really having that passion from a founder has been, and focus. Like we're all very focused on the brand and the fact that we're kind of audacious and cheeky, irreverent. One of our slogans is this ain't your mama's sandwich shop, which kind of, to me, it also serves a little bit as a brand filter because it is really who we are. This isn't a Subway or Togo's. I mean, this is something completely different. Yep. And so when we think about what we're going to do from a marketing perspective or brand interior design perspective, we do think like, this isn't your mama's sandwich shop. This can't be something that Subway or Togo's or Jersey Mike's would do. We're different. And that gives us a great filter to keep pushing, where we're going. So that's a piece.
Something, it's interesting you mentioned that obviously Ike is this like celebrity figure. He's this well-known guy now. He's the logo of the company. I think that's
Yeah,
brilliant. I mean, it's something where I haven't seen a lot of restaurants do it, but I feel like the ones that do, I always tell people that people don't buy from businesses, they buy from people, right?
that's
And
right.
you're
Yeah.
you're you're creating this connection. You're creating this celebrity thought leadership image of this guy who's the sandwich guy, the most amazing sandwich guy, and it's really cool to see. I mean, there was this one pizza client we were working with. I believe they're in the Midwest, and only one location, but they were doing, God, I believe they're doing like 300,000 a month, and tiny little pizza shop. And it's because this guy, this the founder of the business, his same thing. His face was the logo. He was out there making pizzas. He had such actually, I think what he did also was he had this like a YouTube channel where he would thousands and thousands of people just want to watch him make pizza. So
Yeah.
I think when you put the founder out there, and if they're all right with it and they have this kind of character about it, there's so much to that. It does so much for the brand. It's
Yeah,
really,
I
really
think
cool.
so. I mean, as a marketer, having kind of been through so many different more corporate brands and brands without that kind of face of the brand, it's like a godsend. It's like, you can't
Yeah.
ask for something better as a marketer. Now, look, there's always risks. We all know of issues that have popped up for other companies, but Ike's very invested in the success of the brand, and like I said, it's his passion, so it's what he
Absolutely.
does.
Absolutely. What about your staff during this time? I mean, a lot of restaurants we've spoken to, it's been somewhat of a difficult thing to make sure their staff is motivated, excited, staying active every day, energetic. Any kind of tips on how you keep your staff motivated and excited every day?
I mean, look, I'll be honest. When COVID hit last year, the marketing team was me. We had nobody else. So when I say, look, we're homegrown, we're like a startup basically.
Yeah.
But during that time, the current CEO Mike Goldberg and I have built up our various functional areas. So we've really used the COVID time to really kind of, I think when COVID hit, we like had to steady the ship right away, right? We secured our online ordering partners and really started working with them. And then we had to, I kind of say like risk to get reward. So some of the risk was around those $5 sandwiches. There were people saying like, you're
Yeah.
crazy, you're going to eat your margin, But then the next piece of it was just really sharpening the tools in the toolbox. And that
Yeah.
was not only me, but everybody, and Mike hired VP of operations, director of operations. I have a digital marketing manager now and a guest response LSM manager. So,
Got it.
we were trying to take a breath during COVID and then build our teams. And, but now here we are, right? This is how we meet with our teams. And, it's all about Zoom. We really, with my team, we are all over California. I'm northern, they're southern, and that's just how we communicate. My most recent hire marketing technology gal, we didn't meet until she'd been with us for 6 months. Like,
Oh,
how
wow.
does that happen?
So wait, so on the corporate side, is everyone, are you guys all working individually from home and then just Zoom for everyone?
Well,
Or
initially, yes. Initially, that was the plan. We did open a small corporate support center in Long Beach. So
nice.
as restrictions open and close, those folks are getting together, and then the plan is for all of us to meet there on a regular weekly basis. So
Nice.
eventually, but yeah, I mean, 90% of what we've been doing last year was remote and by Zoom.
Yeah. God, Zoom is getting so much business right now, aren't they?
I know. Crazy. Why didn't we invest?
God, I know, right? It's I always keep thinking like I can't believe it's been really a year now. I
I
mean,
know.
it's just wild how this is still a thing, but it's been really amazing the innovations that we've seen during this time. What we've seen in the restaurant space, how strong some of these operators are during this moment. And how much, I know it's been a tough time for many restaurants, but it sounds like also for you guys, you've taken advantage of some opportunities, right? It isn't all
Yeah.
bad, right? Um,
Yeah, I do. I see it that way. I think it is, there's been some positives, right? And for somebody like me who's been in the restaurant industry my whole life, the one thing I think that really kind of made me feel good, even as I saw some brands that I've worked on and really loved and cared about, falter and close, frankly.
Yep.
What I really have appreciated is how much our guests, it's like you brought it up earlier, like they want to support their local restaurants. And it's like how much people really value the role restaurants play in their lives. Like we might have taken for granted that, they were just coming in for a sandwich, but it's more than that, right? It's
100%.
actually a relationship. And so I don't know. I guess that is what came to life for me is we're really part of people's lives every day and an important part. So yeah, there's been some good things.
Awesome. And speaking of that relationship with your customer base, how do you guys maintain that relationship? What do you any kind of specific tactics or tricks you guys do?
I mentioned email before, but it is really constantly trying to be in their face. We have also our really kind of a fun social media stream. Ike, you mentioned it earlier, but Ike does YouTube videos and
Nice.
just kind of like, where's he at? He'll just be like, hey, I'm looking for a site in Las Vegas, and boom, there he is. Or making some crazy new creation, like he did a tortilla sandwich thing video where he used a tortilla and made this, I don't know, he was doing some like origami with the tortilla, but people love that connection. So yeah, the brands they love, they want to hear from you in social or in email or connect with you, where they can.
Are you guys doing TikTok yet or no?
We played around with it. Yeah. Ike's done a few of them, and we have a social media group that helps us with TikTok.
Has that been beneficial or not so much yet? Or what are your thoughts?
We're just getting our toes in it right now. So, I just feel like you got to be where people, you got to be where you can engage with your guests. Right. And so everybody's on TikTok. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's for me, TikTok's been a very interesting thing as of lately. I mean, a lot of our clients are asking me about it, and frankly, I'm not running ads on there yet. We spend a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram, about 5 million a year. That's kind of our main focus. But TikTok, super new still, I think, a younger audience, but it's like 1 in 6 restaurants I speak to now, maybe 1 in 5. They're asking me, can we do TikTok ads, or can we be on TikTok? Can you help us? And we don't do that yet. But I mean, I'm seeing the growth on this app is just going crazy. And I think
it is crazy, but don't you think brands need to be careful though? Cause it's like that club, Snapchat was like that. And certainly people feel, I think you get a lot of rejection too, when you're popping into somebody's club, like, hey, buy a sandwich. And they're like, what?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just for, what I'm always looking at is where are people, right? So if you look at let's just say mail versus mailer, which was such a big thing for so many restaurants and still is, which drives me nuts, but yeah, people still do it, right? Mailers versus, let's just say, the ability to text someone or email them. Let's look at those 3 in comparison, okay? Or let's just say social media, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at digital versus print, high level, okay? The average American checks their mailbox a couple times a week, 2, maybe 3 times. But they check their phones over 100 times per day.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, for real. Right.
I don't know. I'm looking at TikTok as like, hey, we have looked at some of the targeting on it. Unfortunately, the targeting by location isn't nearly as advanced as Facebook and Instagram. Like Facebook, Instagram, you can target someone within a mile of the restaurant, which is so incredible. But TikTok, I think it's like by state right now. I don't know. It's still new to us, but I've been posting on it a little bit here and there. It's
I'll check you out.
Check me out. Yeah, it's not too difficult to build a following there right now because it's still so new and growing, I think. So I think for brands who are looking to reach a large audience fairly quickly, it is a cool platform. I mean, especially if Ike is cool being on camera and doing YouTube stuff, I would say might be a cool thing for you guys to check out, play around with even more so.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm clear. We have done some TikToks with Ike. It's just, like I said, the focus part, where are we going? But yeah, He's
Yeah.
done a few really fun ones. I do think, it's like, how do you create that? It's a really organic platform, right? They
Yeah.
really value authenticity, I feel like,
Totally.
and which is great for us. Ike's a very authentic person, but yeah, I think it's going to be brands have to navigate that carefully, right?
But I think for you guys, because you guys have that uniqueness with like, and you guys are probably way more authentic than the average brand out there.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that's why I think you guys would be cool. I wouldn't tell this to everyone because I don't think a lot of people would
All right,
succeed on
wait,
that
let me
platform.
write it here. I'll write it. Let me write it down.
You guys, no, you guys are cool though. I mean, you guys definitely have a great looking brand, and it's awesome
Thank
to see.
you.
And props to you guys.
Yeah.
What are some of the what would you say? I mean, you've had so much experience with so many different types of brands, doing so many different kinds of things. Over your experience, what have you seen as some of the just kind of major problems in the restaurant space that need to change?
Um, That's a good question. I guess, I mean, there's a place and time for everything, right? And I mentioned that at Carl's Jr., I was, it was a great place to grow up because of the structure and the process and the silos, the functional silos. But, at Ike's, all that had to be blown up because we were so lean and mean. And what it made me really appreciate is people within our organization that can work cross-functionally. I learned a lot about operations at Carl's Jr. and that has served me so well throughout my career. And so
Yep.
I could comment on some operational initiatives and feel that was welcome within our organization. So we're
Yep.
really good about working across those silos. And I think that is something all brands should look at. Are they valuing voices from across the aisle, if you will? Because that's often where the great ideas are coming from, outside of that functional silo.
Absolutely. 100%. And then what are, since COVID, like I spoke to, have you heard of Ordermark, by the way? Or do you guys use
No,
Ordermark?
or maybe
Okay.
I have. I don't. Yeah, possibly.
They're basically a really interesting company, but they basically, I spoke to their CEO last week. His name's Alex Cantor. And I don't know what they're valued at, but they got $120 million in funding recently from SoftBank. So they're doing some things
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Basically, all they do though is not all they do. They do a lot of great things, but one of the great things they do is they sync up when you have, let's just say Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever, you have a variety of different iPads you have to use for
That's
each of those
right.
platforms. They
Oh,
just
yes.
sync it
Yeah.
all together into one, and then they allow you
Yeah.
to change your menu on one iPad to all of them, which
Yeah.
I think is really solving a major pain point. But when we spoke, he said what restaurants need to be thinking about more and more, and it sounds like obviously you guys are thinking about this, which is incredible, is just the e-commerceization of restaurants.
Yeah.
Is like he's like, look, this is something that was probably going to happen over the next couple of years, maybe even 5 or 10 years. Now it's just been accelerated to COVID because
Yeah.
they had to. So, I would say that's an opportunity, but what are you guys doing to take advantage of that opportunity? What are some other things you guys are looking at right now?
Look, that you just hit on like a huge opportunity. The iPad cluster, as I like to call it, that's a real problem at restaurants. And we did a quick analysis when we were noticing some of our third-party sales fluctuating week over week. Like, oh, this is 50% down. This one's, what the heck's going on? And when you do a deep dive, there's a lot of at the restaurant level control of those iPads, right? Like,
Yes.
so and so called in sick, I'll turn off this third-party iPad, and then there goes all those sales. So, yeah, so companies like Ordermark, there's a couple other ones. We're addressing it right now through our partnership with Paytronic. So as they're building our online and rewards, we'll feed everything through our POS and through Paytronic. So no more, the vision will be no more iPad clusters.
Yeah. Cause I see it all the time and it just makes sense. I mean, God, it's just a nightmare. All these orders coming in all over the place.
It is. It is. And like I said, it's an opportunity for lost sales when that happens, and the controls at the restaurant level, that's problematic.
100%. Renee, what advice would you give to some restaurateurs who, let's just say they're at the 5 to 10 location range? What are some of the things that you think they have to be thinking about if they want to get to, let's say, 30 or 40? What are some of the big things they should be thinking about?
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I've recently, before I joined Ike's full time, I was a shared CMO across a couple different brands. So I was CMO at Ike's, but then also a small 4-unit yogurt shop and a 30-unit
Nice.
pizza chain. So I've kind of been all over the place. I mean, the interesting thing is that 4-unit yogurt shop needs the same marketing technology infrastructure as a 1,200 unit Carl's Jr., right?
Mm,
They got to have online ordering. They need to have a rewards club. They need some customer relationship marketing tools in their toolbox. So, it's tough for the smaller chains out there. I mean, luckily there's a lot of nimble, new companies like the one you mentioned earlier that can come in and assist. But man, those
yeah.
Martech fees start adding up, right? You think about even 15 years ago, you didn't have all these fees. Now you got, whatever, 100, let's just round numbers, like 100 for your online ordering per month,
Yeah.
another 100 for your loyalty club per month. And now we need to have a guest response platform where we could go in and respond to reviews coming at us from every angle. So, man, those marketing technology fees per month per restaurant just really added up. So
It does.
I think for smaller restaurants, you got to start with like being clear about, who you are. And it doesn't have to be like a formal brand positioning statement, so, we bring X to Y. It can be as simple as like a brand filter, like I talked about for Ike's. At Carl's
Hmm.
Jr., our brand filter was big juicy burgers for young hungry guys, right? And you
I
saw how
love
that
that.
was
Yeah.
expressed, right? And
Yep.
although it was expressed in like, the sexy Paris Hilton commercials, it was also expressed at the local level, by the individual restaurant operators by using that filter to say, hey, we're going to have a unified message. So I'm sorry, I can't sponsor your kids parade because I'm going to have coupons being handed out on college campus, right? That's just like a simple example. So I would say to smaller brands, just focus, like know who you are and who your consumer is, and just focus. It's okay to say no. That's what I would say. It's okay to say no.
Got it. Got it. I think that's a big one though, honestly. Like there's so many things you can do as a business. It's hard to decipher what's best
Yeah.
for you. And you got to be able to say,
Yeah.
no, 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 I don't need that. Yes, I need this. But I think for
Right.
a lot of restaurateurs, like we see all the time for these smaller operators is like they're people that have been a GM at some restaurant, local independent restaurant for 20 years.
Sure.
They finally
Sure.
save up enough money. They open up their own location. Maybe they open a second and then they're like, the marketing, this and that and this and that. And it's just, there's
That's
so
right.
much,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
exactly. So
Um,
marketing, supply chain, training, it's all of that back of the house stuff for brands that, yeah,
hundred
that's rough.
100%. But that's also one reason I really like working with franchises or larger chains like yours is because like, you know, there's standard operating procedures that are set up. There's systems and processes. I always say that you don't build a great business, you build a great system, and that becomes the business. But systems and processes is so important in this space, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
Renee, what about how do you get better in general? Because marketing changes. You've been in the space for a long time. How do you learn? How do you get better? What resources do you have, or I mean, what do
Uh,
you do in general?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a couple things. So number one, I've loved working across different segments. I've been in fast food, fast casual dining, yogurt. I worked on a women's fitness chain called the Bar Method for a while, so learned a lot about subscription model businesses.
Yes.
So I think, like working across different segments and different types of restaurants has really been helpful. And then, look, I can't know everything about everything that's happening right now,
Yeah.
obviously. So I really value partnerships with our vendor partner. I don't even like to say vendor, but with our partners,
Yeah.
That, and I expect and rely on them to like bring the latest and greatest in their area of expertise, you know? So
Yeah.
I want the folks building our website to show me what they love about the competitive sites and what's important for us as a brand to bring to life. Same thing with guest response. You know, we've got a great relationship with Merchant Centric, they've been a game changer for Ike's, and the ability to really respond to guest reviews and engage with guests and satisfy them.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, same thing with Patronics. So those are, you know, you learn really the brands that are the backbone of the industry, and then you learn from them, what are the latest technologies, where are we going? Like
100%.
again, we can't know everything.
Yeah, but I think that's a brilliant thing to say though, and it's good that you know that. I mean, all of us, right? We can't all be experts at everything, and you know,
Right.
we used to joke at our agency because we used to work with, oh, we did restaurants, we did gyms, we did e-commerce brands, we did women's fitness brands, we did bikini brands, sunglasses, shoe companies. So I said we were good at everything, but we weren't great at anything. So until we just did this one thing for restaurants, we got really damn good. But it's like you said, you got to know what you're good at and what you're not so good at, and you got to know when to look for help, right? When
Yeah.
needed. I mean, I think there's no shame in that. I mean, I ask for help all the time. You know, there's a lot of things I need help with, right? Everyone needs help in
That's
some
right.
areas.
Yeah, I think
So
sometimes the best thing to be good at is listening, right?
yeah,
And then deciding when to act, you know, but being an expert at everything, that's never going to get anybody anywhere, right?
yeah, 100%. So you guys are working on some of these new digital initiatives. When you guys roll out the new website and some of this online ordering stuff you've been talking about?
Oh
Timeline
man,
on
you know,
this.
like every digital roadmap, there seems to be a lot of speed bumps along the way, right? So, um, look, we're targeting a website launch April, rewards and online ordering May, gift card probably will get in front of the holiday gift card season. So we're really having to phase it out. I mean, the intersection of all these things is amazing. And probably if I was smarter, I would have sequenced them a little differently and done website 1 year and then, but it feels like we don't have
Got
time,
it.
right? We got to get it going. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't blame you. Time is money right now. I mean, these are, but
yeah,
hey, you guys are making these moves. I mean, I'll be honest. Some of our clients, which I honestly feel kind of embarrassed to say this on the podcast, but we we had a few clients that, man, they got fully shut down, and the only option was, you know, call in orders. And so we had this really advanced marketing funnel that would take these customers down this funnel, collect all their information, and then they'd click a number to call. So it was like,
oh,
oh
yeah,
God.
yeah,
But
crazy. But you know what? It kind of goes back to something we were talking about earlier. It's like you got to be where people are comfortable. And hey, look, there's still plenty of people that are only comfortable picking up a phone and calling
that is true.
somebody. So, you
That is
know.
true. So Renee, for anyone who's been listening to this today and they want to learn more about you and just Ike's in general, how do they do? What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I mean, check us out. You could check me out on LinkedIn. I've got a couple articles and other podcasts on there. And then, and I'm happy to kind of connect with anybody out there who wants to just connect on things. And then okay, you can go to our website if you want to, but remember I said it's like 1998. Go to our website in April. But you know, check, like I said, we've got 70 locations. Like I have a passion for this brand and for our food. Go buy a sandwich. And if I'm there, I'll buy you
Yes.
one. But check out one of our top sellers. Check out a Matt Cain or a Madison Bumgardner, or better yet, try my favorite, the Menage a Trois.
The Menage a Trois. I got to try Ike's. I honestly haven't tried Ike's before, and I'm going to maybe try them today for lunch.
Well, hey, Brett, we've got an opening next week, grand opening Thursday in El Segundo. Pop by. I'll introduce you to Ike.
I would love to stop by. You said next Thursday?
Yeah, I'll send you an invite.
Okay. I actually will be leaving out of town on Thursday, but when I get back, I will stop by 100%.
Awesome.
You guys are at now 70 plus locations. I'm 100% going to stop by the moment I'm back from my trip. This would be really cool. I need it because I do need to try Ike's.
I'd love to host you. So let me know when you're coming by.
100%. Well, again, Renee, thank you so much for your time today. This has been incredible. Such a great learning experience for myself and I'm sure our audience. And again, let me know when the launch happens. I will be stopping by for sure. Really cool.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Brett.
All right. Thanks a lot.